It has been 75 years since Nazi Germany surrendered and World War II ended in Europe. But coronavirus concerns has canceled the annual Victory in Europe Day celebration. Simon Bates has some words on that in this week's London Calling.
This is what I see out of my window every morning. A month ago, I locked up my London apartment and moved full-time to my farm here in England's beautiful southwest. I feel safer here. Even so, I do miss the excitement of spending some of my week in the heart of one of the world's greatest cities, but I won't be missing a massive party that our capital was planning for next Friday, because it's been cancelled.
As British troops met their Russian comrades shortly before the complete collapse of the German armies.
75 years ago, British and Russian forces met on German soil, and the Second World War in Europe officially ended. It was announced by British Prime Minister Winston Churchill.
Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
No more of these disturbing pictures of the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler surveying his latest conquest. He'd killed himself 8 days earlier. The Germans collapsed and surrendered, and later that day in London, huge crowds gathered to celebrate victory in Europe, VE Day. Britain's King George VI spoke to the world.
Today, we give thanks to God for a great deliverance. Germany, the enemy who drove all Europe into war, has been finally overcome.
Then the King and Queen shared the moment with Churchill, with the familiar face on the left of the balcony. See it? Our current Queen, Elizabeth, who later slipped away to join the crowds. It was a day to savour for both our nations. Now, next Friday's party was to celebrate the 75th anniversary of this tremendous victory. Our government had already declared it a public holiday with a fly-past of wartime planes and a procession towards Buckingham Palace. But then came the virus, and most of the events were pulled. After all, nobody wanted to endanger the lives of the remaining veterans. The Queen will still broadcast to the world with her personal memories of that historic day, and there'll be thousands of local events in towns and villages across Britain, often centred around the local war memorial. This is ours, not far from the farm. And a few miles away I came across this, a memorial to the 4th Infantry Division of the US Army, which was headquartered here in Devon prior to the D-Day landings, a little piece of America tucked away in the English countryside. And so, next week's VE Day celebrations will be largely invisible, just like the deadly enemy our countries are fighting today. That's London Calling. This is Simon Bates for CBS News in Devon.
I love Simon Bates and these reports, London Calling. Thank you, Simon, very much for that.